Hi, Shirley here, and today I'm going to talk about how to manifest a relationship when you are obsessed on a particular person. Obsession is actually a key issue that if you get right, you can actually use to your advantage. But you do have to know this knowledge and not stick with what society says about this topic. Obsession is when you can't stop thinking, feeling, wanting a particular thing or person, or thinking over an issue in your life. When it happens concerning relationships, society sometimes deems the person who is obsessed with someone as a person who is stuck in their lives, who is stuck on someone, who is stuck on a relationship. But from a growth perspective as well as a spiritual perspective, obsession is actually imperative to your growth if you have a challenging or karmic issues or lessons or whatever you want to call it around the topic of relationships. And this is important to know because first, you don't judge yourself. You know that this issue for you goes differently than for other people. So you have more processes or progresses to go through in the particular issue of relationship than other people who find relationships easier, who move from one relationship to another more smoothly, who grow and learn more smoothly. That means absolutely nothing about you. And if you're into astrology, there is also a very simple prediction, very simple explanation for that. For example, Saturn in the 7th or 8th house could predict prolonged experiences or prolonged karmatic experiences. A retrograde planet or Pluto in the 7th or 8th house could also predict these things. Any retrograde planets you may have in this house could also predict these things. And also a Pluto opposition or square Venus could also predict these things. So you don't have to actually, you can take a look at your chart, but you don't actually have to check your chart. You probably already know if you have issues with being obsessed with people or having unrequited loves. And the big question is how to deal with that. First, stop judging yourself. Understand you have a longer process. As long as this obsession does not manifest in behavior or behavioral patterns, and even if it does, I'm going to let you in on how to mitigate that, because sometimes just going to therapy for that might not be helpful enough. Obsession. Basically, obsession or falling in love teaches you something and also gives you the hormonal incentive to grow out of your old patterns. This is where you have prolonged period of time where you become aware of a lot of your beliefs and perceptions and unconscious patterns in a relationship without actually having one. So if you have any self-worth issues, boundary issues, they're going to show up without actually being in a relationship. This is so important because to get into a relationship when you have unhealthy patterns can lead to violence, to relationships that are unfulfilling in the good case, and in the worst cases to violence, to your feeling like you don't exist in a relationship. So from that perspective, it is better to have unrequited love than to actually enter a relationship. So it is better to be obsessed about a person you cannot get than to actually be together with a person that you cannot leave. And the way to go about obsession is to get deep into the lesson that you need to learn in order to go out of it. When you run into the patterns and the beliefs you have on relationships, so you can ask yourself, what beliefs do I have about relationships? What is my attachment style? That means in what way I relate to people. Am I anxious about the connection? Am I disorganized, sometimes doing a push and pull? Am I avoidant? Am I avoiding relationships in my life? Am I not attracted to people who are attracted to me, but they do seem like quite okay people? And that might mean you have an attachment issue behind this. There could be attachment trauma in your life. There could be trauma in your life. The best question to ask yourself if it's a case of unrequited love is, what would happen, how would I be right now if this person was next to me? Then all of your patterns come up. This is such a great exercise that I can't even begin to describe to you how transforming it is. So instead of asking, why doesn't XYZ want me or love me, ask yourself, if this person was right next to me, what would I be like? Would I run away? Would I be satisfied? Would I be unable to receive their love? Maybe it's a receiving love issue, a self-worth issue. And would I still want them around? Or is it just that I cannot get them that turns me on, but I don't really like them as a person? It could come up. To heal these issues, you have normally healing the scale chakra. And I did a video about scale chakra healing and allowing pleasure into your life. Using conscious masturbation is a very good way to start, especially if you have difficulties with this issue. And also healing the heart chakra, that is where your self-worth is. And I use horse parts for that. I use journaling for that, crying it out, and I also have a video on how to use horse parts to heal yourself out of abuse, and how to use kunzite is also very helpful if you want to use crystals for that. And then you can touch on your scale chakra, on your solar plexus. That is where you have boundaries. So if you have your scale chakra, that's your desires and your creativity, then it heals your throat chakra where you express that. Goes through your heart chakra where you balance your own love to give and receive love. And then of course the solar plexus that sets your boundaries in the world. You can also do grounding, that's the base chakra. So all of these things are really important to have a good and healthy relationship. So you want to start on working on these chakras issue and use some crystals, some energy, maybe some essential oils, conscious masturbating. Every area in your body, both your genitals and every area in your body is related to certain chakras. So that can give you a good way to work on the issues and to release memories from your body, release trauma that could be blocking you, and transmute your energy. So I talk about conscious masturbation, and I also talk about healing your attachment patterns in several of my videos. The most important thing to do about obsession is to basically get into the issue and learn your lessons. It is much better to obsess about one person for a decade than to have consecutive relationships, or maybe 5 to 10 relationships during that decade, where you keep going through the same lesson without actually growing and learning. So it is much better to obsess about one person and learn the lesson than to perpetuate a cycle. And you have a choice there. You have a choice there. You have the choice to say fuck off to society and your friends who try to get you out of being stuck on that person, and to focus on the lesson and the lesson only. To learn about the relationship as if you're growing out of a real full-fledged relationship. This can transform your life. If you go along with the flow and try to apply the tips that work for people who don't have your issues, then you're barking on the wrong tree and you're going to get stuck and you're going to get frustrated, and you're not going to understand why don't you keep on. You're going to judge yourself, and this only will perpetuate a cycle of lack of self-worth or trying to move on and get to know new people. So you're going to look for someone with a different eye color or a different culture or a different social status or different body structure, or even different behavior in the sense that one is more direct and one is more indirect, as a narcissist, for example. But you're not going to get to the real issues because you keep trying to get to know new people before you had worked on the lesson. And when you work on the lesson, you will find out that once you sort it out, you are absolutely no longer thinking about that person. It can happen like that. When you sort the issue out, it can happen like that. Like a point of release where, whoop, I don't think about this person anymore. You've learned the lesson, and now you're ready to manifest what you do want. So the basics of love is that it respects boundaries, where you can express yourself, where all of your feelings and thoughts and opinions are respected, as well as the other person's, of course, and where you feel like you can be yourself. And of course, feel the emotion of love and feel the emotion of attraction. Okay, so that's the basics. But then you can make it more specific to you and your needs as you grow. And that can help you go out of obsession and manifest the relationship and the love that you want. So don't listen to society here. Understand that if you have an obsession, you have a lesson, and it's better to go through that lesson than to try to avoid it and try to get into relationship that will perpetuate the same cycle because society tells you to move on from that person already. So don't be afraid of obsession. Obsession is just a prolonged lesson, and I've talked about where you have prolonged lessons in life. So watch my astrology of manifestation, watch my Saturn retrograde planet video, and how to apply manifestation tools when you have a prolonged struggle, a prolonged karma in your chart in a specific topic. And you can also use my timing and manifestation to make progress, slow and steady progress on particular issues when the moon is growing. If you're a woman, then when your cycle is from the end of the menstruation to ovulation. And I talk about this too in one of my videos. So make sure you subscribe to my channel if you want more of that advanced knowledge and tips that actually work, that are counterintuitive, but do help you manifest and transform your life. And with relative ease even. Make sure you stay tuned to this channel. Click the bell when you subscribe, otherwise you don't get notifications. You can also check my Instagram account for daily tips of inspiration, and my Facebook group called Manifestation Tips That Actually Work. That's where you can get a deeper discussion. You can PM me on Facebook or DM me on Instagram if you have more personal questions that you feel awkward to ask, especially on these topics. And I'll help people with personal issues. Again, take advantage of this time. As you can see, I have quite profound and quite integrated knowledge, and I'm only beginning to teach that now. So take advantage of when I still run this YouTube business and I'm still a beginner as a YouTube channel, to get the information you can from me. If you're one of my tribe, if you're one of the first people who follow me, you get to basically design the content that is tailored to your needs by asking me questions. So take advantage of it. This is not going to be, for a long period of time. I'm still going to post free content and public content, some of this content is going to turn into premium content and be elaborated for you. So take advantage of the now and make the best out of it while it's out there. Thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.